everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Lara Trump Wanted for Questioning. We had some good ones last week. I don't know if we're going to top it today, but let's see what you got. Question number 1. What's a family tradition you and the kids have with President Trump? Well, you know what? We usually do Easter with my father-in-law. That's sort of a pretty solid guess, is that every Easter we're all going to be together. And there is a big Easter celebration at Mar-a-Lago. Now, I'll be honest, while he's in the White House, we may have to make a trip to the White House for the Easter egg roll because he was not here this year in South Florida. And we were going to go up there, but you know what? We decided to take it easy and just do a little something as a family. But we usually always get together for Easter. They have this Easter egg hunt that's completely epic at Mar-a-Lago. And there is a golden egg. And I will tell you that I do not allow my children to cheat. My son tried it one year. He had to go sit out. We're not doing that. No, absolutely not. Not in my house. But they have found, I think my daughter found it this year or the year before, and my son found it 2 years ago, legitimately, the golden egg. Now, some have cheated in this in the past. I'm not going to say who they are, but you know if you have cheated in this. But he's always around cheering the kids on. It's super fun. And, you know, that's one of those special things that I think holidays are always a time where you get together and you get to see one another. But it's a big family tradition, the Easter celebration at Mar-a-Lago. So we certainly always like that. And then I feel like, you know, over the next 4 years, we're going to have to come up with maybe some new traditions because it's a little harder to get together, a little harder to see him, at least for my kids to see him. But I do remember that we went to the White House Christmas party with my kids in the previous term. So maybe we'll try to make that a new tradition as well. And maybe we'll go to that White House Easter egg roll next year. Stay tuned for that. We'll see. Next question. How different did each campaign feel 2016, 2020, and 2024? Totally different. All of them totally different. 2016 was wild. I mean, God, none of us had any idea, first of all, what the hell we were doing. None of us had any idea what we were up against and what was kind of coming down the pike at us. Like, we just were green and we were fresh and we were naive and we didn't know what a caucus was, and we didn't know anything. We didn't know what we didn't know. So that one was different. You know, I remember just basically saying, you know, I feel like we should get some women out on the road because all these media outlets are saying that women aren't going to vote for Donald Trump, but I know a ton of women who want to vote for Donald Trump. This is 2016. And somebody was like, all right, so just go do it. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And they were like, I don't know, just go do it. So I got a bus and I got a group of women and we just traveled around the country. And, you know, we utilized social media, I think, very uniquely that election cycle. And I think it's one of the things that gave Donald Trump a big advantage. Shout out to the whole digital team, Brad Parscale. Jared obviously had a hand in that. But we were just fresh and we were new. We just didn't really know a whole lot. 2020 rolled around, and because the country was overall headed in a better direction, save for COVID-19, shout out to China on that, it felt like, you know, we had the wind in our sails, and it felt like that we had a lot of great things to tout out on the campaign trail. We had learned a lot since 2016. We had a very professional operation in terms of our campaign. And I was a senior advisor for the campaign in 2020. And it really felt like there was no question Donald Trump was going to win, especially against Joe Biden. Like, who was excited about this guy? Nobody. We all know what happened in 2020. And I'll leave it at that. 2024 was very different, especially for me. As the co-chair of the RNC, there was a lot of weight that I specifically felt on my shoulders. And it was almost like a moment of redemption that we, you know, whenever we won on November 5th or the wee hours of November 6th, it felt like validation that we knew the country was still there. We knew that so many people were still behind. I say us, obviously it's my father-in-law, but look, we all work towards this. But having gone through 2020, you get a little burned. You know, you really start to wonder, is anything going to be fair? If people actually come out and vote, will it count? That was my job at the RNC, and we made sure of that. But it was very different. They were all very different elections, different opponents for most of them. And, you know, it's sad because there were so many women in 2016. Remember they all those ladies went to the Javits Center on election night because Hillary was going to break the glass ceiling there. Remember that? Bless their hearts. Didn't work out there. They basically tried to tell people that this was the time for a woman to become president in 2016. Now is the time. If you're a woman, you should want this to happen. This is great for women everywhere. Hillary Clinton's the one who's going to do it. And obviously didn't work out for her. Thank God it didn't work out for her. Then they trotted out Kamala Harris. Arguably much worse. At least Hillary could like string some sentences together. At least she had knowledge of what she was talking about. Kamala felt like very confused every time she came out. I didn't know what she was going to say, and I don't think she knew what the heck she was going to say either. I'm going to tell you something right now. There will be a woman who is president of the United States one day. That woman will be a Republican. That's all I'm going to say. The way the Democrats are doing it, you guys are it's never going to happen for you. Stop telling people that you need to vote for someone based on their gender, based on the color of their skin. Whoever it is who wins as a woman, I can guarantee you it won't even be part of any pitch you will ever hear from them. That should have zero bearing on anything. I got off on a tangent there, but I just had to say it because it's just so ridiculous. But yeah, these were all different. This was the sweetest one. Certainly was the sweetest one for me personally. And I'm going to say for the whole family. And I would argue that all the funny business that went on in 2020, as disappointing and damaging to our country as that was, as upset as I know so many of us were to see the result of that election, I think that things worked out the way that they were supposed to. I don't think Donald Trump would be doing nearly as many things as he's doing right now for this country had he won 2 consecutive terms in office. So to all those 81 million, put it in air quotes, voters out there who were so enamored with Joe Biden in a basement, came out and voted for him. Spikes at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's all right, because look what we got now. It's even better. In today's world, protecting yourself and your family has never been more important. But we know sometimes a firearm isn't the right answer. That's why I'm proud to introduce you to the new Byrna Compact Launcher, or CL. This is the world's smallest and most powerful, less lethal self-defense tool. Look at this. It's about the size of a smartphone. But I'll tell you what, don't let its small size fool you. Firing at 400 feet per second, the CL packs enough punch to stop a threat right in their tracks without the life-altering consequences of deadly force. Here's something else I love. Over 80% of Byrna's components are proudly made right here in the USA, and every launcher is hand-assembled in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Protect what matters most, safely, legally, and with confidence. Visit Byrna.com today to learn more about the compact launcher. Byrna, the alternative to deadly force. That's BYRNA. Visit Byrna.com to learn more. As you know, our friend Mike Lindell has a passion to help everyone get the best sleep of your life. He didn't just stop by simply creating the best pillow. Mike created the best bed sheets ever. They look and feel great, which means an even better night's sleep for me, which is crucial for my busy schedule. Mike is offering the best deal on his Giza Dream bed sheets. Any size, any color, just $49.98. That's right, you can even get queens, kings, split kings, and California kings, any size, any color, just $49.98. Order now because when they're gone, they're gone. Also, for a limited time, when your order is over $100, you will receive $100 in free digital gifts. Call 1-800-624-3945, use promo code LARA, or go to mypillow.com and make sure you use the promo code LARA for the amazing offer of $49.98 on the Giza Dream Sheets, any size and any color. Number again is 1-800-624-3945. Next question. Does Grandpa and everyone in the family ever go on a vacation trip all together? He's a little busy these days. I think we could finagle something at maybe Camp David. Did we all go? We all went to Camp David somewhere during his first term in office. I took my kids. Eric and I took the kids. We had a whole family thing there. Maybe it was Thanksgiving. I think it was Thanksgiving in 2020, I'm going to say, that we all went there. So yeah, maybe we'll do a trip like that. But generally speaking, I mean, when is Donald Trump going on vacations? Like, really ask yourself that. This is a man who does not stop working. Since I have known my father-in-law, which has been 17 years, I have never known him to go on a formal vacation. Never once. And Eric and I tried to do it with our kids for spring break. Obviously, we go on a family ski trip. We try to do some couple getaways. Donald Trump is a workhorse. This man thrives on being busy and working his ass off. And that's what he's going to continue doing. So over the next 4 years, there will be no vacations for Donald Trump. I can tell you that. Maybe we could get him for like a weekend at Camp David. And I think that's probably the best we can hope for. But then again, when he's there, he's still working. There's a full, setup there for the president to function and work there. And he always is. But that's what's good for him. That's how he's the best at everything. That's how he's really taken this country back in the right direction. Thank God for it. So yeah, we're not really going to see Donald Trump doing any official vacations, I don't think. Next question. With all your travels around the United States, what cultural change stands out to you the most? It's interesting because the thing that I experience the most is on airplanes. I don't know if this is a cultural change. It's just something I've noticed. Back even 4 years ago, I could pretty clearly determine, just based on looking at somebody, whether or not they were a fan of ours or not a fan of ours, to say it nicely. These days, I don't know that it checks out anymore. There are people who come up to me on airplanes, and I'm sure they're going to say something, not nice to me, or I don't know, whatever they're going to do. They're such huge fans of President Trump and are always saying such nice things. Thank you to your family, whatever, all of it. I've just noticed that there has been a huge shift with a whole different group of people from all different backgrounds, people who I think traditionally you look at them and you're like, well, that's a liberal voter. No, it doesn't count anymore. It doesn't check out that way anymore. And I love to see that because I think this really is a shift towards uniting the country. I will say it again. I've said this since Donald Trump won in 2024. I believe at the end of his tenure as president, the 47th president, people will look at Donald Trump. They're going to give him the highest approval rating of any modern president. And I actually think our country will end up more unified at the end of his term than we have been maybe in my lifetime. I don't know. Save for right after September 11th. I don't know how you get more united than that. But I really believe that. And I think I'm starting to just feel that out there, that there are just, so many people. And a lot of these people will tell me I was a Democrat and I now am a huge Trump supporter. I used to hate you guys. I think you're great now. When you come over, we want you. We love it. I'm here for that. I can't tell you how great it makes me feel to hear from people, to get slipped a beverage napkin, to, whatever. It's so great. And I love that I am always caught off guard. Even better. If I don't suspect, even better. Keep it coming, people. I love to see it. Okay, final question. What's the most challenging aspect of being a public figure, and how do you handle the scrutiny that comes with that? Well, I'll tell you, I never expected this. Who would have expected all of this? Not me. I think the way that people can manipulate your image and the things that people think about you. I think most people, even if you don't subscribe to my same kind of politics, if you voted for Kamala Harris, for example, I think if you sat down with me, you would think I'm a really nice person. I think I'm a nice person. I try to be a good person. I try to, treat people fairly, and I try to be kind, and I want to leave people with a better image of me when, after an interaction than maybe they had prior to that. But I think it's really sad that people can just go online, and this happens to everybody, whether or not you're forward-facing in whatever it is you do or not. People can go online and write nasty things about you. For us, they write an entire article and they accuse you of things on television and they don't have any backing or what. It's just that kind of stuff is very frustrating, but you have to learn that those people don't matter. And you're never going to please everyone. You're never going to get everybody to say, "Oh, you're great. Everyone loves you." That's just unrealistic. It's not life. Well, I'd love everyone to say that. That will never happen. That's okay. But I know deep down in my heart who I am. I'm a great person. I have a great family. I feel so blessed. And I mean family overall. I mean my husband, my kids, my dogs. That's my nuclear family. But my parents, my brother, the way I got to grow up, I feel so lucky and so grateful to have Donald Trump as my father-in-law, to have my husband's family have embraced me from the moment they met me the way they did. I just feel very lucky. And so look, with all the bad stuff, there's good as well. Like I'm saying, people come up to me all the time and have the nicest, kindest things to say. So thank you for that. It never gets old. I never get tired of hearing it. There were some tough years in there. And so to feel like we've come out on the other side, that there was light at the end of that tunnel, and that people get it and people aren't afraid anymore to speak out and say, we supported President Trump. And I'm very hopeful for the future now. And you're always going to have those nasty people. The truth is, the things they say about you and probably write about you, they're really saying and writing about themselves. So you have to remember that. All right, that's going to do it for us for this episode of Lara Trump, Wanted for Questioning. Make sure you send us more. As always, post under this episode, post on any of our social media. I will do my best to answer whatever it is you want to know. Till next time, make sure you like, subscribe, share, and follow, and we'll see you back here for more of Lara Trump, Wanted for Questioning.